Rabbi, we're starting the Torah from the beginning again
I don't
today.
know.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I don't know, Chris. The reality is that, um, and did you get the email that I sent out
Yes,
earlier
I
this week?
did.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I'm here
we're
more
gonna
than
wait.
anything.
We're gonna see what kind of feedback we get. I've heard from a couple people, uh, with their comments or their suggestions, and and we'll see. The reality is that Marty and Sue are traveling for a while, and then they're going to be. Sue, I think, is having. I don't know how public it is. Sue might be having some surgery after they get
Yeah,
back. So Marty doesn't want, he's backing off from all of his commitments to be
yeah,
able to take care of her if she needs it.
yeah.
sure.
So I'll fill in, Rabbi Miri will fill in when she can.
Good.
And then, and then we'll see.
Okay.
Some of the regular, we'll see if there are people who want to go back to the beginning. And I know that a number of people have said they'd like to try doing a different book, and there are some people who Saturday morning just doesn't work for them anymore.
Mm.
I guess La Posada has um, some other programming that some of the Jewish women who used to come to this group have
Oh, I see.
feeling more comfortable there. And then you've got a couple of people who, in this time of year, the couple of people who are big international soccer fans. And
Right.
Saturday morning is a big, internet soccer game, I guess.
I
Oh,
guess.
So
Yeah.
uh, uh, it just may be that we need to take a hiatus for a while in a formal way. And then you also have the people that say we'd much rather be reading and meeting in person. But not everybody can, not, if we met in person, Donna wouldn't be able to come today. And there are other people who, for one reason or another, don't want to come into the crowds, or even if it's a small group. So I
yeah,
don't know. I don't.
yeah.
Oh, you got company there, Chris.
Oh, yes, Rabbi. This is Oliver. Come here, Oliver.
Oh, we have an Oliver in our neighborhood too.
I hope he learned something good for sure.
Yeah, he's a good dog. Yeah,
Yeah, he's only 9 months old, so there's still a lot of puppy in him.
great.
Um, this is a
Yeah.
great guy.
You
Donna,
know,
you wanted to say something? Jump
yeah,
in,
I was
please.
wondering, like myself, folks being gone for the summer might have been part of the, you would know more about that than me, but maybe it would pick up more, but, still have the suggestions. We just don't know. We're kind of flying.
Right. I think what do they call it? It's the perfect storm. And I don't mean to say that in a negative sense. It just,
Yeah, that's
some
true.
people,
Uh-huh.
some people just want to do some other different things on Saturday morning and be with different groups,
Yeah,
and that's fine. Some
yeah,
people have, unfortunately, have died or have moved away,
uh-huh,
and that that's a reality.
yeah,
Some people no longer belong to the temple, and they don't feel that it would not that they don't feel welcome, but they don't feel that it's that appropriate that they should come, or they've
Oh,
found other study groups that are meeting their needs a little bit more. So, like I said, there are different Pirkei Avot, right? Ethics of the Fathers, right?
no, but this is written by a friend of mine in Palm Springs, her brother-in-law,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and by William Berkson.
Well, the commentary or the translation is, I mean, the text itself is
Yeah,
is 2,000 years old, but
right.
right,
But
but the
it's
translation, the commentary, yeah,
it's timeless wisdom for
right,
modern life, and I
right.
have learning so much out of this. So anyway, I'll write that
Traditionally,
down.
traditionally, because
yeah,
Pirkei
please.
Avot, Pirkei Avot has like seven chapters. Okay. So the tradition is that you read one chapter, you read and study one chapter each week between Passover and Shavuot.
I like
Oh,
that
That's
idea.
yeah, that's that traditional study
oh,
pattern.
Well,
So
that makes more
and we
sense,
had talked about doing that one year. Is that
right?
is you know, put tap the hold button on regular Torah reading and just do, you know, during those 7 weeks, just do Pirkei Avot. That's a, you know, that's kind of
wow.
an option. That's
Yeah,
next spring. We could talk about that again.
yeah, I'll be there. I'll be, yeah, I think that's kind of
I
a neat,
like that idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I
really like
also,
how it has the traditional, in Hebrew and
right.
and then the modern, because it makes it so much more current, the modern life, you know. Uh, anyway, yeah.
So
Uh,
I'll tell you something else. I'm just checking my phone to make sure that nobody called and said, I can't find the link. I can't come on. But
okay.
uh, um, the something else about, so Pirkei Avot is actually a section from the Mishnah,
Hmm.
okay, and then that goes into the Talmud, okay. So if you remember the sequence, the Mishnah that's written first, and then the what's called the Gemara, which is the commentary and or the debates and the discussions that come up about the Mishnah, not necessarily about the Torah, but
Torah
like you know, it was like so
commentary on the
example,
commentary.
example is like when you're lighting the Hanukkah menorah, you know, do you go right to left? Do you go left to right? You know, those, I mean, there are much more important issues.
And when you put it in the window,
Right. So is it the way that you look at it, or is it the way that the people outside are looking at it?
that
You
was
know,
my dilemma
things
last
like
year.
that.
Yeah.
The so those kinds of questions and debates, and then the resolution of the answer, if there is, that's called the Gemara. And when the two are printed together, Mishnah and Gemara, that's the basis of the Talmud. Okay,
Okay.
but the Pirkei Avot, the section that you're talking about, was so accepted as as having universal truths, okay, that
Hmm.
there was no argument. People
Wow.
didn't argue. It was self, what do you say? It was self-evident. It was perfectly clear, and everybody agreed. It's not like this rabbi said, no, they meant this, and somebody else said, no, they meant this. And so the Pirkei Avot is the only part of the Mishnah that doesn't have a Gemara to it.
Wow.
Conflict.
There's no debate. There's commentary,
Hmm.
and there's, you know, there are discussions about the relevance, but there's no debate. Everybody understood exactly what the point or the truism was supposed to
That
be.
would be a great subject,
Yeah,
definitely.
you know,
That would
so
Yeah.
be,
it's another interesting thing about Pirkei Avot.
Yeah. Thank you for that
Yeah, it's not
background.
you know, it's not debatable. You know, it's
That,
discussable, but it's not debatable.
wow.
Was
right,
the way that
right.
they approached it.
So
You
it
know,
is what it is, huh?
the
I'm
other
sorry,
thing,
Chris?
go ahead, Chris. I'm
So
sorry.
it is what it is. Nobody's gonna,
Well, it is what it is
yeah,
from 2,000 years ago,
right.
and it's amazing how
It's
relevant,
still,
you know,
exactly. And
like there's one of the
that's what I
chapters,
think Torah is anyway.
I think it's chapter 5, if I remember correctly offhand. It's either like 4 or 5. There are a whole bunch of statements about who's the best teacher and who's the best student.
Okay.
Mm,
For example, and there was a well-known, I don't know, we're all around the same age. I don't know if you took education classes in college, okay? But there was a education professor, I may have been from NYU, I'm not sure. His name was a Jewish guy. His name was Chaim Ginott, Ginott.
mhm.
And he would include those statements from Pirkei Avot about how to be a good teacher, how to be a good student in his class lectures.
Wow. It's a
Right.
Very,
universal
very
truth.
famous for that back in the 50s and 60s.
Wow. Well, yeah, I was born in 56, so.
Oh, you're a kid. You're the same age as my wife, so okay.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. You know, the other thing I like too is the Hillman and Akiva, the debates that go back and forth with them too.
Oh, yeah.
I that's
Hillel and Shammai.
oh Shammai.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really appreciate that too because it gives you those, you find your truth in between that,
Well,
but it
the
gives
thing,
you this.
and I quote it or at least refer to it very, very frequently.
Hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is that the lesson there is that both opinions are included, and that both opinions are included respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They don't denigrate one or the other.
Uh-huh.
Okay. There are a couple of places where, most places Hillel wins and Shammai doesn't because Hillel leans towards the lenient and the liberal rather
Mm-hmm.
than the more strict, which
Hmm.
is Shammai. But that's not always the case. But
Okay.
what is really obvious is that both of their voices are heard, and both of their schools of thought, their disciples, they're always included, and they're included respectfully, and that's a message to certainly to the modern Jewish world, is that it's okay to have a difference of opinion,
Mm-hmm.
do it civilly,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But don't cast out somebody out of the community just
Yeah.
because just because you disagree with what they're saying or the way that they're saying it.
Yeah. Sorry, interruption there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, once again, being in this world that we live in now, to have a civil, to look at both of them as being very valuable, and we
Right.
have to have one thing rub up against something else to cause that, maybe within me, this understanding, this kind of friction, that happens
Yeah.
when you have that. So,
And you start with what's the common ground.
okay.
Right. Yes,
Whether it's the common goal or and whatever, and then
exactly.
what do you have in common,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then you can what's the phrase, you can agree to disagree agreeably.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Very interesting. Well, this is great. I'm
Well, I don't
looking
know,
forward to it.
it's almost a
Yeah,
quarter after. I don't.
I am too. This is
What
definitely
would you
something
ladies
that
like to do? Do you want to do a little bit of Torah? Do you want to just keep chatting like we are?
I
Um,
like the chat idea.
okay.
I don't know, Chris, what would you like?
well, either way, I am enjoying this very much.
Okay. I'm not even
I'm
sure.
looking
I'm not
forward
even
to.
sure because I wasn't at the last because I was traveling, so I'm not even sure
Mhm.
where we are in the text.
I
Uh,
wasn't there either, so I
You
don't
know,
know when it ended or where are we. It's been quite a
I can
while.
double check with Marty and see, yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but I
maybe.
wasn't there.
but
And
I do would like to have a little taste of what you're talking about in regard to the study. I like this understanding that we are going to be able to have when we come to the book that you're referring to. I'm sorry, I didn't remember the name.
Oh, for
For
next spring, you mean the Pirkei Avot for
yeah,
next spring?
mhm,
Okay,
right.
we can certainly keep that in mind.
Yes, I would like to know what we're dabbing into anyway. It
sure.
sounds very interesting. It appeals
And
to
yeah,
me a
and
lot.
there are lots of different commentaries
Mhm.
about Pirkei Avot. It's usually translated as, or used to be translated as, ethics of the fathers.
Okay,
Yeah,
You
I
know,
read
that's
about
right?
sort of
that.
like
Or
Yeah,
Muzar.
chapters of the
right,
fathers or things like that.
right.
Um, the
that sounds like
But there
my
are
soul
lots
too.
of different commentaries. I mean, they
Okay.
go back 1,000 years, but also
And that will be exciting
there are
because
some very, very familiar ones, right?
you getting a
Yeah.
review from so many sages at so many levels.
Right.
Definitely would be good to hear what they are talking about back then as to what we have now. That would
Mhm.
definitely be exciting to that. How do we end up here
Yeah.
when
Oh,
this is how
make it,
we used
yeah,
to think?
make it
Yeah,
current.
You know, when
right.
I mean, back in the spring, if we wind up doing this, so before you start, the tradition is, or the custom is before you start studying any particular chapter, so each week that you're doing it or whenever you approach that book, there's like a little preface. You know how like when we study Torah, we always say the blessing, the bracha, you know, whether it's in Hebrew or
Right.
English about studying. So when you study or read Pirkei Avot, there's a quotation also. Donna, I'm sure it's in the like near the first page of the of your copy of the book there also is Kol Yisrael yesh lachem chelek v'olam haba, that all Israel, meaning all Jews, have
Right.
a portion in the world to come.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay, all right, which and then people then go on to comment on it or whatever, and the bottom line or the most prevalent commentary is, okay, just because I'm Jewish, I have a portion, I have a
portion.
reward in the world to come, however we want to interpret or define the next life, okay,
The portion is
eternity,
right.
okay.
Mhm.
But what's left in parentheses is, but if you want to know what your portion is in this
Exactly. Right.
life,
Hmm.
read this book. Okay? So
Okay.
that's the thing, okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. You might think that already, because we don't believe in reward and punishment. So you might think that you are, just because you're Jewish or just because you're an Israelite, you're entitled to,
This portion.
living
Right.
eternally, whatever. But parentheses, that's olam haba. That's in the world to come. What about this
Right.
world? So if you want to know how to better live in this world,
Mhm.
read this book.
Mhm.
That's
Hmm.
the thing that
That
you can do with
intriguing.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I think at
don't
the
raise
same
your hand.
time,
Just
I'm
jump
sorry.
in.
Well, that way Chris knows because I don't see
Oh,
everything.
I'm
okay.
sorry. I
Maybe
am
I should
sorry.
put
Go
you on
ahead, John.
gallery. So yeah, I'm a class principal. Yeah, I studied or continue doing some of the Musar, with
Uh,
and that's very valuable too as far as character building.
yeah,
And
I think I told you that's not. Although I have um, an ancestor, a great 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 grandfather who was a scholar and and a rabbi and a teacher in the Musar movement.
oh,
But it's not something that I claim a lot of knowledge about.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't, I it gives you one word, you come up with one sentence, you work on
Uh-huh.
one thing for a week or two,
Right.
whatever. And
Right.
so you memorize that. And during the day, I would say that when a situation would come up, either jealousy or anger,
Mm-hmm.
all these
Good, good.
characteristics of being human.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's, because isn't that what it's all about? Is not all about, but is our character, how to be a good human being and to treat
Well,
each other fairly. But
Uh-huh.
it takes wanting to look at ourselves and our flaws. And anyway, it's exciting, Rabbi.
Go ahead,
but
Chris.
that is good because I think that's part of our portion as well. It
Hmm.
does sometimes the word portion makes it sound like as goods. Well, they're all goods, by the way. There will be all goods. But I think that will be part of responsibility as well.
Yeah.
And the portion that you will have in the future that will make, the world to come a better place if we
Right.
start now exercising our own portion of discipline, like you say, jealousy or anger or whatever comes to us at that moment, that we can work out on making our portion better and the world better
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
dealing with the situation as
The
now.
uh, the cute thing, two comments. The cute thing about a lot of the Musar literature
Hmm.
um, is that it's structured almost like not like a dictionary or a thesaurus, but like, so here,
Okay.
like Donna was saying, like, here's the one word. Here's the word generosity or
Right, right,
tolerance
right,
or
right,
love or
Right.
faith or
right.
something like that. And then there'll be definition or examples or biblical quotes, or whatever for it. It's a really interesting, and you kind of try to think of the amount of time that they must have taken to
Mhm.
to research that and to make sure that this is long before Google, and any kind of computer program that would have allowed
Yeah.
you to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the, the other the other thing I wanted to mention, Donna, if you're making a library and collection, or just want to see some Musar stuff, so
Uh-huh.
like I said, the great 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 grandfather, all right, um, his last name was Papo,
Okay. Hang on.
Papo.
Let me write. Hang on.
Okay,
P.O.
Papo, Papo.
Oh, wow.
Now, I can't tell you whether it was Yehuda ben Eliezer or Eliezer ben Yehuda because it was father and son. This is in the early 1700s. And, some of the books are published under the father's name and some of them were under the son's name. So I can't really, but the last name was Papo, Papo. And the
Okay.
most famous one is called Pele, Pele, Pele. Second Hebrew word is Yoetz, Y-O dash or apostrophe E-T-Z. Pele Yoetz. It's like wondrous advisor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. And a Sephardic rabbi in New York by the name of Mark Angel, just Angel spelled the way you might think of it.
Uh-huh.
Mark Angel translated it.
Oh,
Okay. So the Mark Angel's translation of Pele Yoetz is a very, very nice thing to have. If you're looking to have a collection of Musar
yeah, because I have the
literature,
traditional ones. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So I mean, I don't get a commission from it. My family doesn't get anything out of it. But it's a good example of that type of literature. Is
Yeah.
Pele Yoetz by
Okay.
Papo.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Morning, Suzanne.
Where
Good
is
morning.
it?
Welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you. I didn't think there was going to, the past few weeks there hasn't been Torah study. And I have to tell you, I won't be on camera because I'm in bed with heating pads on my knees.
Wait, okay, all right.
Oh,
So
Didn't
I just,
I tried forwarding something to you this week. Ruth Ann gave me your email. Did you not get it?
um, well, I don't, I'll have to double check again. I don't recall seeing anything, Rabbi, but I'll look again. I might have missed it.
Okay, all right. So here's what's I'll give you a brief synopsis. Okay, no, we haven't met. I was traveling, and now Marty Cohn is traveling, and whatever. So that we really haven't met, and Rabbi Miri wasn't available. So I kind of logged on. Well, last week we had a service at the temple, but 2 weeks ago I kind of logged on, but there was nobody there, and da, 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 da. So we said we would try to meet and try to get some feedback from people because the numbers have been dwindling and there really hasn't been much regularity as to who can join and who not. So we're trying to get some feedback from people as to whether we should reconstitute and just kind of regroup. And once Marty gets back, I mean, I can run it for a couple of weeks, but once Marty gets back, whether we take it back and get going again in the same kind of pattern, or whether we try to find a different time frame. Some people are saying that Saturday morning doesn't really work for them anymore, even though that's a traditional time to be studying Torah. Um, but and you can do it privately. You can send it to me, either email or a phone call or something if you want, if you'd rather. But and any comments or ideas or suggestions on what we can do to kind of, get back to the numbers of 10, 12, 15 people that we used to have. A couple of people have said they'd really prefer to have it in person, but that makes it kind of limits it, because there are people like yourself, and
Like
there are
me,
people
yeah.
there are people out of town who just can't physically come to the temple. So my expectation is that we're going to stay on Zoom. Um, Maybe we'll cut down from 2 hours down to only about 75 minutes, like 10 to
Yeah,
11, 15 or something like that. It's going to be easier for people to make other commitments that they might have on Saturday mornings,
right.
whether it's a soccer game or whether it's a dentist appointment. I don't know. So again, if there's
You
something that you
insist on
want to
that
add,
soccer game.
feel free. And this morning, we're just with Chris and with Donna. It's just kind of been an ongoing. What are we chatting about? Some questions and answers, and pick up, kind of thing. We haven't really looked at the text at all. So that's what I just brought you up to speed.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I have a question about the Feast of Tabernacles, which I think is coming up pretty soon.
Well,
Or
yeah, tabernacles in we call it in Hebrew. It's Sukkot,
Sukkot, yeah.
or the
Sukkot,
feast
that's right.
feast of
Booths,
booths.
yeah.
Not drinking booze, but booths. PHS. Booth, yeah, right.
Well, maybe they could drink booze in the booths.
Okay, right.
But my question is it true that on the seventh day there is a sacrifice of bulls or something like that? Or,
If
I
I
mean,
remember
did it
correct,
used to be?
yeah, if I remember correctly, what used to be was the first day and the seventh day, um, were to be I'm the eighth days, the first day and the last day were to be days of sacred assembly, and yes, it was the same sacrifice. I mean, we haven't done that for thousands of years, but
Right,
the
right.
same sacrifice was offered on the first day and the last day.
Hmm.
So the how many days are there?
And eight.
It's
It's
Oh,
eight.
the
eight.
it's that's why Hanukkah is 8 days, because they weren't allowed to celebrate that festival when the Syrian Greeks were in charge of the temple in Jerusalem. And
Hmm.
so once they reconquered it, the Maccabees reconquered it and rededicated the temple, then they say, aha, let's now celebrate the 8 days of that festival. But
Oh,
anyway,
Oh, I thought it was because the oil burned for 8 days.
yeah, well, that's the legend. One
yeah.
Oh,
one's more of a historical reality, and the other is the legend that we tell the Sunday school kids.
oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked
Yeah.
because a lot of my information comes from Christian sources,
Uh-huh.
which most of the time is correct, but not always. So I like to verify.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. And I
Okay,
agree with you. Frequently, the Christian sources are correct because they come out of the same milieu. They come out of the same time frame.
Hmm.
yeah. Well, yeah, and
Right.
we both share Yahweh. So okay.
Hmm.
Well, okay. So that was my question.
Yeah. So, and the easy way to remember that is that the same day of the week, and this year it's Monday, so a Monday night. So Rosh Hashanah begins on on Monday night, which is the first of
Yeah.
the month of Tishrei. Then Sukkot begins on the 15th, on the full moon of Tishrei. So that's a Monday night, 2 weeks later. And then the eighth day would also be Monday night. So that the last day of the festival. So it's all Monday nights.
Wow.
Oh, and it always starts on the, did you say full moon or new moon?
Well, Sukkot starts on the full moon.
Oh,
Rosh
full
Hashanah,
moon.
the start. Rosh Hashanah is on the new moon of the month.
Oh, okay.
New moon of the
Okay.
seventh month. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
they
Oh,
and they
okay.
did, a lot of the holidays, the Jewish holidays, the biblical ones that start on the full moon because it was easy enough to tell the full moon.
Oh,
Sometimes
Wow.
there were
sure.
sometimes there were questions about the new moon, but everybody agrees on when the full moon was.
Yeah.
Oh,
That,
okay.
yeah.
Good to
That,
know.
Yeah,
yeah.
Doug, go
That's,
ahead.
that's, another thing that, for me is, uh, I don't know about the nature part, how, uh, with Sukkot, it's the harvest, isn't it?
The
You
fall,
know, and
it's the
how
fall, it's the fall harvest.
you're right. And so, a lot of these have to do with food and nature,
No question.
and I love that part because I'm a nature freak, not a freak, but I really appreciate that part of God's creation. And
Right. Right.
yeah, yeah. So,
And that's why the calendar is so coordinated, the Hebrew calendar,
okay.
so that the festivals are always approximately in the time, at least in the time that was appropriate for that climate,
Mm-hmm.
in the Holy Land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that you didn't celebrate what was the biblical fall harvest. You didn't wind up celebrating that in March.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And
Right.
what's the one with the rain? The prayer that time
Well, we
where
change we change the prayer. It's the second paragraph of the Amidah, of the Tefillah, the Shemona Esrei prayer. The
okay.
second the second prayer that we change as of the Sukkot time. We change it into the praying for rain so that our
Pro-
grain and our produce will not have to suffer drought.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's strictly, and then in Passover, we change it back to asking for the appropriate amount of dew in
Hmm.
this, but rain in the winter time or the rainy season, and then
Right.
dew to keep us moisturized and to keep our skin well enough moisturized
Yeah,
in the,
before
in the summertime,
Noxema.
right?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But
Yeah.
that's where everybody gets crazy because we can be reading about um, the fall. We can be reading about the laws and whatever of the fall harvest, Sukkot, Tabernacles, what Suzanne was talking about. We can be reading about that within a couple of weeks after Passover when we read in the Torah cycle. Say, well, wait a minute, why that doesn't make sense? Why don't well, that's one's the Torah cycle is different from the planting and harvesting cycle.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's why they talk about having four different New Year's, observances or different calendrical cycles
Wow.
in Jewish tradition.
Hmm. Wow.
May I ask another question?
Yes,
Yeah.
you may.
You can have it
Um,
all.
um, I'm I'm curious about the Dead Sea Scroll calendar, which seems very reasonable to me. Of course, I realize there are some differences um, between the current Hebrew calendar, and I was just wondering. Uh, I guess I was wondering how the Dead Sea Scroll calendar is Is it accepted by the Jewish community or?
Not really. To the best of my knowledge, no. I mean, it's recognized that there was such a thing, but it doesn't impact into either either this what we call the agricultural calendar or the Torah cycle calendar. From what I was always led to believe or taught was that the calendar for that they assigned to the Dead Sea Scrolls was specifically a calendar for Jerusalem
Oh,
that the priests would follow, which had its differences from the calendar that was accepted for the rest of the world, the diaspora world, after the destruction of the temple. Again, that the Dead Sea Scrolls represent the stream, or we use the word stream, but others would say denomination. But the stream of those who were tied specifically and wanted to preserve the form of worship, sacrifice, and ritual as it was in Jerusalem.
Hmm.
Huh.
But as of the end of the first century Common Era, the focus of the Jewish world goes away from Jerusalem.
Oh, okay.
So
That
that's
that
that's I think that's the way that it was always explained to me, and seemed to make sense of why the Dead Sea Scroll calendar, was acknowledged that there was such a thing. But once the focus of attention in the Jewish community turned to the diaspora and the synagogue institution and away from the sacrificial cult, that's how the calendar kind of modified in a different way.
oh, that's interesting. Because
Hmm.
what I liked about it was that it's based on 364 days,
Uh-huh.
which is I mean, our our calendar that we use, the Gregorian calendar, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
is
I'm not sure. They obviously had to reconcile it into, again, the same thing that I was talking about, that they wouldn't celebrate the fall harvest in spring if it's only 300, sooner or later, maybe not in any of one person's lifetime, but sooner or later, the times would move that much that it would be away from the seasonal appropriateness. And I don't know how they reconciled that.
Hmm.
well, as, as I understand it, they would have to add a week every 5 or 6 years,
Yeah, like
and
like the like again, the normative Jewish calendar adds a month
Yeah.
yeah,
on a regular basis. But you may be more knowledgeable about that than I am. Absolutely. If they
well,
if
it
they added
just
a week,
seemed.
I know that they'd have to reconcile it somehow.
Oh, sure, just like our current calendar,
Right.
we have to reconcile it every 4 years,
Leap year.
for leap year, right? And
right.
anyways, it just seemed to make sense to me, and and I thought that that would be something that I I know that the current Hebrew calendar adds a month every now and then. I forget how many years.
It's,
Um,
it's seven out of 19.
something like
But
that. Yeah,
don't ask for the formula.
it's okay. But it just seemed to me that the Dead Sea Scroll calendar just seemed a lot cleaner, and I thought that that would be something that God would uh, give to the Jewish people, to make it easier for them. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but
That's just how it struck me.
when you're talking about God making it easier, or whatever the Jewish equivalent of Hallmark cards and calendars, when it's a conflict, I don't know who wins. But anyway,
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because if I it reminds me of Fiddler on the Roof when No, I can't remember his name, but he says to God, "Why can't you choose someone else?"
Right. Well, can't you choose somebody else? Yeah.
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 Change. Right. I
You know,
know
I
that.
have another or Susan, are you finished following this line? Because I don't want to step in
Oh, yeah. No, I was just
other.
curious.
Okay. Heschel's book,
Which one?
Sabbath.
The Sabbath? Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I appreciate, I went to a book study for that in California. Well, it was a group and it was an interfaith group at
Hmm.
studying that book. And it was quite interesting to have the Christian view and them getting more information about what the Sabbath is for the Jewish person.
Right.
So
Right.
Heschel's
Hmm.
book was real good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What's the name of his book?
Well, that the one that she's talking about is just called The Sabbath.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
okay.
written a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another. Well, he has one called The Prophets, which is
Yeah.
also good. And then
Eth-
the one that a lot of people will recommend is God in Search of Man.
yeah, I have that. I
Hmm.
have his in the prophets. I have
Yeah.
that one too.
Yeah.
And his whole story of being an activist and
Hmm.
what he contributed. Um, you know, anyway, those are they're a lot more meatier, more meat. Like the
Yeah.
prophet.
Right.
Yeah, you just don't read that in a couple of weeks,
No.
paragraph, or at least that's
No,
how
no,
I
no,
have to
no.
do.
You don't do Heschel that quickly.
No, but the Sabbath is very friendly and
I never met the man, but somebody did want to fix me up with his daughter
really.
when I was single. Yeah,
Oh my.
she was
His
she was a Susanna Heschel. She was teaching at when I was rabbiing in Cleveland. She was
hmm,
teaching at Western Reserve University.
Oh,
wow.
that's impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I think she just retired. Um,
Yeah.
she's been, was it at Dartmouth? One of those. I mean, she taught at a number of very well established
Mm.
colleges. I think she retired. I think she was head of the religion department at I want to say Dartmouth, but it may have been
Mm.
one of the other.
what
Yeah.
was her field?
Well, her field was Jewish studies primarily,
Oh, Jewish studies.
but
Oh,
you know,
The,
okay.
the
but
daughter of Heschel.
yeah,
You know,
Heschel's daughter.
we
And she
we
was a strong feminist, very strong feminist. Yeah.
yes, and we had the opportunity. It was via Zoom uh,
Uh-huh.
with her answering questions and talking about her father and
Right.
uh, yeah, that was quite interesting for her even to do that. But she does
Mhm.
do that.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm keeping an eye on the clock because, like I say,
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go to the airport soon and pick up Tiffany
Nice.
in
Okay.
time for services. So, is there anything else constructively that I can pass on to the powers that be about Saturday morning? I do plan on being here next Saturday morning.
Okay.
Although I should be on time, but there's that hunger walk first.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna do that, but that's like at 8 a.m.
Okay.
So if I do that between 8 and 9, assuming my back allows me to do that walk, and then then drive back either to the temple or back home in time for 10 o'clock. It shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
So I'm yes, I am planning to be here with the group next week.
You
Thank
know,
you, Rabbi.
and if you find out where we left off on the reading,
Yeah.
could you send out an email or something
Yeah, that would be good.
This week
or
is going to
not?
be hard to send emails because of the holiday.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Well,
this is what Suzanne was asking about because it's hard. We have to kind of reconstruct the emailing list because it's not the same as the temple mailing list.
Oh.
right.
So if we do send something out to the temple, I have to take it upon myself to make sure like that Suzanne and Rabbi Miri and Michael
Okay.
Purvan, who's
Sure,
no longer a
sure.
temple member, and get those people to make sure that they get a copy of it. So
Right. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we were definitely in Deuteronomy.
Oh,
And
Oh,
yeah,
it
that's
might
what
have
I
been,
thought too. I thought it was near the beginning, because I thought I remembered Marty saying something about that. One of the last conversations was about that phrase, "Teach them diligently unto your children."
uh, well, that
what
could have
was
been
it, Rabbi?
because
Can you repeat that?
I did miss one. I missed the last full Torah study.
Yeah. So my guess is that we're kind of around chapter 6 of Deuteronomy, but I'll see if I can.
That sounds
I'll double check.
that would be my guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Bye-bye.
to those who will be celebrating a Shana Tova, Happy New Year, peaceful and sweet. Let us hope. Suzanne, we'll hope to see you again when we can, and
Okay.
feel better, feel stronger.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, shalom, everybody. Thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom,
Thank you,
Rabbi.
Rabbi.